Good evening, all. How are we doing on this Friday? That's when all the travel began. That smile, that damn smile. Isn't that from the Rebecca Black Friday music video? Remember when that came out? What a better time in my life that was. When the hot topic of discussion was Friday by Rebecca Black. Ah, good to see you all. How do I pronounce your name? Is it XX Solus XX, or should I just call you Solus? How formal are we feeling? Orbo Phil's here. Good to have you. The Dank Princesses. Troll Hags. Troll Hags are great. Edward Moore's here. My number one up. I'd say good to see you, but it's not. Good job for being on time. I don't think I've been late in months, honestly. Good evening, Only Flanks. We've got a Waaagh with a TH. That's not how we, not that formal. All right, we'll call you Solus. That'll do. That'll do. Oh, I was getting set up for this stream, and I cannot overstate how much my quality of life has improved with this new seat. It's so comfortable. You know when people make jokes, or well, not even jokes, but like, you know, rag on Twitch streamers or YouTubers for having the easiest job. Never really felt like that when I was hunched over with constant back pain. And now I've got this with lumbar support. I'm like, you know what? This is kind of easy. This feels pretty great. I'm just chilling in my chair. I'm going to talk about Warhammer for 2 hours. I have had to close a window because we've got the explosions happening outside, and by that I mean fireworks. Oh, I've been painting, so my hand looks like I've committed crimes. Evening, Martin. Tuning in for your Friday night painting session. Could you link the chair you got? I work from home and mine's falling apart. I don't think I'd recommend this one. It's a good chair and I like it. But the research that I have done is if you're looking for a good chair for homework, try and get a Herman Miller Aeron, a refurbished one. Apparently they go for like 300 quid-ish, which is roughly what this one's worth. But that's like proper designed for office use. Lots of people have recommended this one. I lean a lot, which is part of the reason I went with this, because it's very sturdy, but also, I mean, if I'm on camera, having a big bucket chair just kind of feels right, you know? But I love this one. I've got nice arms for it as well. You're convincing your local play group to work on cooking up some narrative rules for a Dread Saurian, so you're feeling pretty good about that. Hell yeah, that sounds fun. Given how poor lizardmen are just in general, I reckon what we need is to make it incredibly OP. Give it, like, Cathay balloon tier rules. Evening, Existence. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Nice to have confirmation, Ed. You dislike me also. That is excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I hope everyone's having a good week. My week has flown by. I have spent a good amount of time painting. Oh, hold on. Oh, those models were starting to tip over. So let's just grab those. So I've got I don't know how well these will show up on stream. Some Knights of the Realm that I need to paint the base rims for. And I also need to make a tray, a movement tray, a lance formation movement tray for them. And I haven't got any base material because I bought a couple of boxes of the Games Workshop ones. Not because I think the Games Workshop ones are good, but purely because every time I realise I need movement trays, it's super late in the day. So I've got somewhere kicking around, I've got a load of the corners and the actual lengths that go along the sides around. So I'll probably just have to cut some cardboard to shape. That'll be what I do. But I'm almost done for this weekend's tournament. T8, 2 plus save, 5 up ward, 5 up regen, inherently on a Dread Saurian, I reckon. Yeah, and it's 170 points. The old one could be ethereal, so I'm taking that. Yeah, there. That sounds good. More Questy Knights, says Martin. Questy Knights would be cool, but not in this case. Andrea says, hope to see some null lists today. I think we've got a couple of null lists, at least one in there, I'm pretty sure. Minimag Trace, you'll never look back. Yeah, I've seen the good ones, but there's lead time on those because it's you know, it's it's a bespoke item. It's not something that I can order from Amazon to be delivered the next day, which, to be clear, Amazon is a terrible, evil company that I resent giving my money to, but it's so convenient that I often do end up using them. Hey, Vesper. Good to have you. Average Wizenlander says, well, that better not be a filthy Stirlander. I'm assuming you're talking about the yellow Bretonnian knight that I showed. I didn't catch the timing of when that came up, but that would fit. No. Although, you know, if I do get round to playing some Renegade Crowns, I'm not opposed to using these Bretonnian knights as Renegade Crown knights. Really nice sculpts for how old they are. I'm a big fan. Oh, I'm at a small tournament this weekend. Not a big one, so I haven't pushed to do like try to get a 5th win with a 5th army. I didn't think it didn't feel like it would count. There were originally going to be 10 or 11 of us there, and there's been a couple of drops, so now it's going to be, I think, 8 people, which is a little bit of a shame, but I'm just taking Grand Army Bretonnians. I figured I'd give it a go, so we're going to go from there. So this is using Brett Knights and Renegade Crowns. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think we've talked about it, and we'll do a proper announcement on Tuesday. But there's not going to be a Fix My List next Friday, because I'm going to be down in Saffron Walden doing a stream test. Maybe I'll stream on the channel, but I'll likely just try and do a dummy stream test to make sure everything works. Because I'm going to be streaming coverage of the team tournament that we're running, or I say I have no part in running, that Lewis is running in Saffron Walden, the Saffron Slam Teams event. I will be doing stream coverage of. So Saturday and Sunday next weekend, there will be live coverage of all of the games. And I think what I'll do is I'll do the games. There'll be players mic'd up. There'll be a camera for the table. There'll be a camera for me. There'll be a camera for the dice. As long as everything works the way I envision. It is the first in-person streamed event that I've done. So if something goes wrong, I will just roll with it, and I will make it work no matter what. But yeah, so there'll be 3 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, and yeah, and then I gotta tear everything down, pack it up. But huge shout out to Ian, Northern Exile, on the channel, who is a channel member. Ian's wife, Natalie, very incredibly generously, just offered to give a huge donation to get set up with the streaming kit, which is unbelievably generous, and I'm so thankful. So, just waiting to hear back. What I'm thinking is we'll have a charity of Natalie's choice that weekend, and any donations, direct donations, can go straight to that charity. Because I'd like to do something to say thank you. Go Natalie, indeed. Yeah, unbelievably generous. Ian's a local down in Saffron, so I believe they just both turned up to one of the Saffron Warhammer club nights, and it became a topic of conversation. She made the offer, which, yeah, again, unbelievably generous. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next weekend. The big problem I was having was going, turns out you actually need a decent PC to be able to stream a number of cameras, and my rig definitely cannot do it. So I'm between 2 choices. Either I put some additional money in and I use it as an opportunity to upgrade my PC and then just drag it along with me, or go with a laptop, which is way more convenient to move around, but it's going to be harder to set up. So I need to do some serious research over the weekend. Oh crap, I'm at a tournament this weekend. Well, need to do some serious research tonight, I guess, while I'm making my movement trays and painting my base rims. I'll be looking into what the hell I should do as the best option. Sludge Foundation. Get those tax write-offs going. Yeah, that's if we make enough to make it worth having as a tax write-off, that would be incredible. I'd be very, very impressed with that. That would be lovely. All right, well, you're here. Well, how long have we been going? 10 minutes. I should probably start talking about some Warhammer. If you haven't already, do give the stream a thumbs up. Helps get picked up by the algorithm. If you're interested in learning how to play Warhammer more gooder, then you can get coaching at patreon.com/close order. And if you want to support the channel directly, you can become a channel member. If you're a channel member of Longbeard tier or above, you do get access to the VIP section on Discord, where there's a few channels in there, but also you get priority on the list building, getting your lists looked at on a Friday night. Has a Flavor says, have you tried the paint markers? They seem like they might be good for rims. Do you mean these ones? I am whelmed. They're okay. They're fine. The browns, I got 2 browns and 2 silvers. The 2 silvers were the same, and the 2 browns were different shades of brown. Neither shade of brown felt particularly good, and also the tips were a little bit wide for doing like the leather straps on models and stuff. I didn't find them super, like, you could do it, but it was just not more convenient than using a paintbrush, was my thinking. Just buy a whole second PC. 2 PC setup is superior. Gig attacks right off. Yeah. So the fun thing about a tax write-off is it's great when you're making a lot of money. When you're at the startup level of, it's not really a super impactful thing. Tax write-offs are for the people with, you know, a good chunk of disposable income. That's the main thing. Could tax write off the fuel for traveling if you're streaming as well. Yeah, so like travel to events is stuff that I've got in my, here's the things that I can write off for personal deductions. Emmy says, list building time as I build lists. Amazing. Time to make Wizarding Hat work. You are convinced that you can make, you're just super dedicated to making lists to make me cry, I think. Which I do appreciate. Go for it. Painting is here. Good to have you. Hope you're doing well. You can also write off the 3D printer. I know you decide. I have one. It just needs fixing / doing up. I've got a Saturn 2, I think it is. I need to replace the FEP and do some of the minor, you know, fixes. But it's. I'll be honest, it's low on the list of priorities. The problem is I actually quite like the old world models, so yeah. You need more creative accounting. You stream from home, so part of you rent deductible. Jay, here's the thing. Here in the UK, we have an amount of money that you can earn before you start paying tax. I'm not hitting an amount of money that is worth me making lots of tax deductions. I mean, like, I'm writing down all the stuff. I'm pretty sure with all of the things that I'm going to write down, I am well overcapped my tax deduction already. Buying a PC, I'd have to be earning significantly more for that to actually affect. Tax deductions are great. It's 100%. Your advice is solid. I'm just not making enough money for that to be really a consideration right now, unfortunately. So maybe next year. Okie dokie, let's get to it. Who have we got here that I have seen in the chat? I did see Phil. Phil's been talking about orcs, and I reckon we could talk some orcs. Troll Horde under the square base comp. So you're going for 2,600 points. Let's have a look at this. All right. We got double Troll Hag. We got a War Boss, Ogres, River Trolls, Stone Trolls, Orc Mobs, Goblin Mobs, Orc Bull Boys, Giant. Did you put any accompanying words with this? I'm not sure if I remember seeing anything in here, Phil. Or was it just a list drop dry? Yeah, how competitive are you trying to make this? Because I think immediately I would like to take the Giant out as my first point of criticism. I'd rather take a Giant out and put another Troll Hag in. No. All right. Understood. Yep, that's fine. Okie dokie. So, that's a giant no. It was a regular size no with a capitalization. So, let's start off with, from the top to bottom. Level 1, Wizard, Troll, Magic. Both of them are Troll Magic. Okay. Sparkly Wizard Finder. Doesn't this give you, like, hatred against wizards or something? What does this do? MR2 Hatred Wizards. That's fine. You don't love being hit by Fireball. Fireball is one of the best things at clearing a Troll Hag, in my experience. So I don't hate that. Have you got the lore? Okay, so you've given them both Magic Resist, which I see what you're going for, but you haven't used Talisman of Protection. And I feel like just going for, like, really tripling down on saves is maybe a better approach here. In terms of the trolls you've got, I think instead of going 6 river trolls, 6 stone, and 5 stone, you just go all in river. I'm a firm believer that river trolls are head and shoulders above stone trolls. Having played them, I was super underwhelmed by stone trolls. We'd probably go like so. Does 600 points make Troll Horde good? I think you could probably do something by going like big beastie spam. That could maybe be a list. And you just go full stat check. I'm not convinced though. I don't see a reason for the Sword of Might. Are you just worried about being ruined by Ethereal? Is that the big worry here? Because you haven't even given them Cav Spears. I think you go Cav Spears, Shields, Biggins, get rid of that Sword of Might. Get out of my sort of sight. Does 600 points make Skaven good? Now we're, now we're really pushing the boat out. You can fix it for Vamps. Screens went around low regions. Yeah, true. I feel like you just lose so much because you've got 3 attacks on the boss at Strength 6, AP 2, Armor Bane 1. That it feels pretty rough to lose those because you also lose the rerolls, and instead you're Strength 6, AP 1, no rerolls. It feels like a pretty big downgrade in terms of actual output. Yes, Caleb, I have indeed got your list. I can get to yours next if you want. Oh, look at all of the not trolls. I'm seeing a lot of haters here. So one of the problems with Troll Horde is you kind of run out of trolls. So we've got 3 units of trolls and 2 troll hags. That's a lot of trolls. And then we've even got the troll specific wizard. That's a lot of trolls. But then you just got you're gonna have more points. Like realistically, you're just gonna have more points. So I think it's entirely reasonable to try and or to put other things in. Otherwise, you're playing with a pretty gimped list. So. Let's go with the Talisman of Protection on this one. Magic Resist 2 and Hatred Enemy Wizards. I think I prefer the Spell Eater Axe because then at least you've got magical attacks if you need to. The Ed Button Hat is interesting as well. I guess you're going to try and snipe unit champions, right? Are there more trolls in chat or on the list? Definitely in chat. Definitely in chat. Could do 4 units of 4 trolls, says Amy. Amy is one of the most experienced Troll Horde players in the country, I think. She's played at least 5 games with them, so that is genuinely head and shoulders above. Or at least 5 games recently. You may have played more previously. Yeah, this unit's pretty solid for holding an objective. I don't even know that I'd give it anything else, would I? It's a shame you can't give them Skirmish and then also flex into Close Order the way that Beastmen can. Such a good role. Played 4 events with them. I'm so sorry for underselling you. That is even more than I thought. These goblins, we need to go higher. We can't be going with only that many. We'll give them skirmishes as well. Let's go 14. 2 units of 14 should be enough to hold objectives for very sad events. Well, I'm not going to say you do it to yourself, but yes. Okay. I'm not opposed to also, this is a bit of Amy tech as well. If you're worried about Ethereal, putting the Burning Blade on the Troll Hag just gives you an option. Because they're I think the only unit in the game that can take a magic item and not have to use it. Because you, instead of using the Burning Blade, you use your Motherly Love attacks. So you get to use this template and just not worry about using the terrible magic item. So here, Spell Eater Axe and a Headbutting Hat. That's fine. I don't hate that at all. She played at least 8 games into absolute sharp pits. I had a great time at one of those events. Yeah, I agree. Healing Potion on the second hack is a great tech. True. Instead of the magic resist. You know what? I don't hate the magic resist, though. It does give a certain... I feel like we're losing... Because we'd lose the spell to react for it, and I think I'm keen to see how the magic resist goes. I'm down for that. This Warbus, great weapon, heavy armor, shield, weapon, troll, trousers. I'd give it at least a charm shield. When you catch that cannonball with your teeth, you'll be pleased to have it. Get rid of that shield there. Yeah, that seems super reasonable. If you want MR, take glowy green. MR is pointless in general. I don't mind it on the troll hags because it gives you protection against the fireballs. Glowy green, they won't even try. That's true. How much is the glowy green? I feel like glowy green is more points though, so you wouldn't be able to do it with the add button hat. And I like what we're going for here. Glowy green, 35. Oh, it's the same points. All right, never mind. You lose the magical attack, but the solution for that is to go battle magic. So one of them is immune to spells. One of them has got a ward save. Then we've got the war boss flying around, chopping things up. This looks pretty solid across the board. I think... Yeah, I really don't want a magic weapon here. Like, I feel like it just cuts so much of your damage. Losing an AP and reroll ones is... it feels pretty meaningful. I guess... Is there anything else that we can put in here? I'm not opposed to giving this unit bows as well. They're free, so you almost may as well not. Drown your sadness with Arachnorix by playing trolls, then Arachnorix feel godly again. All right. Well, you know, that is one way of looking at it. If we go here, just go 665. Oh, we haven't given them weapons, and by we I mean me. I haven't given them weapons. Okay, we're definitely going back down to 4 on this one. That's how we're making this work. 27 points over. Oof. Don't really want to drop that many points. What if we went... Light armor shields. I think light armor shields make sense. You can drop the musician here on the ball boys. They're gonna do so much damage that they either don't need it or, you know, it is what it is. Is Ogre's that good here? It's reliable anti-stupidity. I know we've talked about this before, but I think if you play it and just gamble on the stupidity, it would feel sad. So unless you're trying to really min-max it, I think I like Ogre's just for the way that the list feels and plays more than anything else. We'll just drop a great weapon from one of the trolls, and it'll just be the first one to die. And yeah, I think that gives us basically, you know, what you'd expect to see from a troll horde list, which is it's an attempt. It's an attempt, is what we can say. Yeah. I just hate babysitting him. Yeah. What happened to Nomadic Waaagh? Weren't they a top army for a while? I don't think they've ever been good, honestly, Jay. Maybe outside of the UK meta they'd play somewhere, but they don't have the good orcs and goblins units. They don't have black orcs, which I guess the black orcs are not super important. They don't have night goblins. They don't have doom divers. So I think it's very difficult to feel great about writing a list for Nomadic Waaagh. The one thing they can do is they can go for more wyverns. In fact, let's just have a look at how many wyverns we can go to. Because a 1,000 points they can do 3, but if it's I'm not sure how many points you get for orcs and goblins in the square-based comp for Nomadic Waaagh. Is it like 2-4? It might be 2-4. Because at 2-4 you might be able to fit a fourth wyvern in. Let's have a look here. Nomadic Waaagh. Clicky link doesn't want to work? Disappointing. Disappointing. Alright. So, oh yeah, it's just uncapped. So you can have 3 Black Orc big bosses. Or you could go 2 Black Orc big bosses and 2 Orc war bosses on Wyverns at 2,200 points. 2,400 points. Let's just see if that fits. Just out of, curiosity. The main problem you'll have with that is you have to take a Black Orc chariot in core instead of a unit of war boys. So if we're just going cheap as possible while still being good, let's go Twilight Trousers, Charmed Shield, Wyvern, Great Weapon, Duplicate. 2, 4. There we go. War Boss, Great Weapon, Heavy Armor, Wyvern, Charmed Shield, Trollhide Trousers. 12 points too many. 12 points too many. At 2,400, I think it just doesn't quite work. We could drop all of the charmed shields for normal shields, and we're still going to be, what, 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, that's actually exactly right. So we just lose the ward save. I guess you can do it. I don't love it. I do not love it. Anyway, that's a thought for another day. Because then you've got 600 points of core. At the core, you go, okay, so I can have 1 Black Orc Boar Chariot. Neat. Amazing. Now I've got to put 468 points of Goblin Wolf Riders in. You can't even go Kicknick with them to try and make them less terrible. All right, let's do Caleb Registers list. Let's just scooch this up to the top so I don't forget that I've looked at this one. So this was Wolves of the Sea with no text in there. Think of all those poison stingers matching up your challenges. Yeah, but if I can put 4 Wyverns into the front of a unit, I don't care. I'll take 1 combat res from the 1 in combat, and then the 2 Black Orcs and the regular Orc Wyvern will make Orc Warboss will make 15 attacks with great weapons, all of which have Waaaghed for some reason. So they'll be bringing loads of combat res, and they'll be hitting on 2s and 3s, rerolling 1s. They'll be wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s. I'll be like, yeah. Lovely stuff. All right, so this list it's Double Dragon, Marauders, Warhounds, Gigantic Spawn, Shaggoth, Dragon Ogre. Okay, so this feels very much like a Wolves of the Sea good stuff list. Let's have a look here. Matthew says your Nomadic double star list worked well. I took Nomadic Waaagh to a tournament. I wasn't good at the time, but also I don't feel like from the time I have playing it, it has like serious tournament potential. But like there's a difference between wanting to go 5-0 with a list or like thinking that you can push it to a 4-1 with a good run. And I think it can do the second if you do get that good run. All right, so we'll start off with Everlasting Conquest, Brazen Collar, Double Favor of the Gods. Good stuff. And then this one is the same, but Talisman of the Carrying Crow. I want a second Favor of the Gods on this. That sounds like I'm splitting hairs, but I think that double second Favor of the Gods is really good. I also think Nurgle's really nice on these. Like, it's not super necessary. We're in more of a shooting meta, but I do think it's worth finding the points for if possible. I guess maybe we'll have to cut points here. Maybe that's the reason that we can't go for it, but we'll come back to that. Marauders, Undivided, Hand Weapons, Light Armor Shield, Full Command. Yep, looks good. Then these Marauder Horsemen, Flails, Light Armor Shields, Undivided, Ambushes. Yep, these both look good. I like these. Double Warhounds. No Vanguard on these. Vanguard's very good on Warhounds, and we'll just find the points from like the Marauders or something like that. Spawn, Nurgle, Chalice, Shartak. Yep, all of that checks out. So it's just that I've put loads of points in and we need to cut. Probably just put you back to where you were, which is disappointing. Because I'd like to see these dragons more tricked out. So, in terms of cutting points here, we can't cut 2. We can cut 1 and a musician. How do I feel about the musician here? I mean, this is the sort of unit that really benefits from a musician. I really don't want to drop the musician there. The unit champions with flails. I mean, these are kind of just not great at winning challenges. They're okay. Strength 3 AP 2 and initiative 3, you just might not win that combat realistically. It's a pretty limited choice. Do you need both of them to ambush? I guess you can play it so that you're putting stuff in ambush and not leaning on getting the first turn through the challenge. That works. So what if we go down to 27? We just need to put in 3 more points. There's not really anything for 3 more points, is there? That's the problem. What's going to happen is we're going to come back to exactly where we were before, and I'm going, all right, well, there's a reason you made the tweaks that you did. So let's go back to undivided and undivided. And then I'm 2 points under and I'm 3 points under. So things need to change. That is frustrating. That is frustrating. We don't drop the great weapon. We don't drop the Shartak. This unit has to stay the same as it is. The Shaggoth doesn't get to change at all. The problem is all of this rare is very static in terms of points, so there's nothing we can do to tweak it. So I think maybe it just has to be... Ugh. I really don't want to lose a favour of the gods here, but maybe we just have to. Maybe that is the answer. And we're still 5 points over here, which is its own problems. It is its own problems, he said, using good Englando. So, I think it is literally just going to be that we drop. I'm slightly splitting hairs here. I'd like the one that's slightly better to be the one that's the general with the Talisman of the Carrion Crow, because I care about it more. That is completely unimportant. You can choose that in whichever way you want. Whatever your personal bias is there, which I'm assuming is the way around that you had it, I've just swapped it over because it makes more sense to me. Evening told me. For context, a local RTT with baggage and domination. Okay. Okay. So if it's baggage and domination, if you haven't got... If you haven't got any strategic locations, this unit becomes a lot worse. I think they're very good at scoring, but I don't think they're very good at much else. Pardon me. Like, maybe I'd go heavier into Marauder Horsemen. But I guess it depends on... I think you said list submissions tonight, so it depends on what you've got available. I mean, I'm going to have to just do something drastic and put the list exactly back where it was. Are dragon ogres out? How do you mean? As in, are they not super commonly played? I think they're fine. They do a job. The problem is Warriors of Chaos specifically. So Beastmen, I think, like them more. Beastmen, not Wild Herd, but the general Beastmen like them more. The problem is Chaos especially have really good choices to put in your rare slot. Ambushing Berserkers for funsies. Yeah, honestly. You know what? That's actually not a bad shout. If we're talking specifically about dealing with baggage trains, could just go ambushes, throwing axe, flails, unit champion. And just rock the classic multiple units of 6. And then one of them becomes 7, like that. Oops, no, that's another horseman. One of them becomes 7, and you can also give it... points just get a little squiffy there. Points get a little squiffy. Like, these coming in the back lines on what you were talking about is maybe more effective than what you had previously. Got like 6 more Marauder Horsemen I could use. Ooh, okay. So maybe 2 units of Berserkers, and then... How many ambushes can they have? It's just a flat, you can have multiple units of ambushes, right? So 3 units of 6 Marauder Horsemen with ambush, 2 units of Berserkers. One of them just has to... Oh. I guess you lose ambushes off one of them. No, I'd like them to come in the back line. Okay, so one of these units doesn't go ambushes. That's probably the answer. One unit of the horsemen starts on the table. Because they can just be really flexible. So 2 horsemen, 2 berserkers in reserve. You've got throwing axes here. You've got flails. You see, now that I've seen that, if they're coming in with ambush, let's give them the javelins as well. Javelins or throwing axes. Do we have a preference? Throwing axes are better. Quick shot. Javelins let you march. The turn you come on, it doesn't really matter, so I guess we'll go throwing axes. Because you can't march the turn you come on if you're ambushing. So this just gives you a little bit more beef. Beef! The berserkers go hard on baggage trains and domination when ambushing. Yeah, absolutely. So we're now 11 points over, which is a little bit of a problem. This unit here, we don't necessarily need to give javelins. I'm on board with that. These two, do we maybe just drop the unit champions? That would free up 16 points. So what if we went goodbye, goodbye, 1 point missing, of course. This is a puzzle that I do not enjoy. Woo! Multiples of 6 just make things just a little bit of a pain in the backside, frankly. We're 5 points shy. Then it has to come out of core. At least 1 point has to come out of core. I guess maybe... No, because that's 6 points. God damn it. I'm going to drive myself nuts here. I'm going to drive myself nuts. There's just no, like, directly great option. Go to 1 unit of dogs, buff the rest. I like 2 units of warhounds. What buffs would we put in? So we'd have 40 points. We could go 16 here, so we'd have 24 left. I don't even know what you put on for 24 points. Like, just 2 more berserkers, basically. So that list, I mean, that list becomes legal. So on that basis, maybe it's better, because we can just go like this. Get rid of that. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. I think, like, messing around with the core... This is basically what I'm trying to achieve, and messing around with the core, we could probably try and refine for ages, but this feels like it is the most correct we'll get without spending another 30 minutes specifically just tweaking model by model by model. Yeah. Does Vanguard mess with marching column shenanigans turn 1? Vanguard dogs. Marching column Vanguard dogs are great. Yeah, absolutely. We're meant just to toss into the pre-game challenge. That is true. That is an option available. Cool. Let's move on. I know I did chat shit for ages, but we are 40 minutes in and only 2 lists have been listed. So let's go to... What are we thinking? I saw Vesper in the chat earlier. If you're here and if you're wondering if your list has made the cut, I think I've managed to fit everyone in who didn't have their list looked at last week. So if your list was looked at last week, it's not here. But if not, I think everyone's list is in. Okie dokie. So this was Hiles. Let's move this up the table. What have I done with it? I don't think there were any notes with this one either. Okay. Oh, no, there were notes with it, because you said that you couldn't get the JSON file to work on your phone. I remember now. Let me just have a quick look here. Trying to wrestle with the best way to make a Dragon Prince's party bus. Inspired. Hard fit in, and a dragon. Maybe there just aren't enough points to do this. You know better than I do. I like the idea, actually. Assembling C card with a friend. You're on TV. Say hi. Very nice. Very nice. Ed's here. Again, my number 1 op. I'll get to yours after this. So, what do I like about the list? I think the character allocation's pretty interesting. When I was putting it in, I was like, is this right? And then when I saw the points capping out, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why things are the way they are, and I don't hate them. I don't love the core. This doesn't feel great to me. This unit is here for violence, and then the eagle, I get, is for impetuous blocking, which is fine. I don't hate that at all. It is okay. Let's have a look. So the one thing I did want to check, you can't put the arcane banner on this one, can you? No. Okay. Do we need Magic Resist 3? That's very, very expensive to get Magic Resist 3, because we're also just not using... you are using that. And you minus one to shot from minus one to be shot from the Sacred Incense, which is good. But there's no way to like stack more negatives to hit. It's the only minus one to hit. There's no banner that gives you minuses to hit as well, is there? Let's have a look here. No, there isn't. So Banner of Arcane Protection it's a lot. Like, I think I'd rather go Banner of Resilience, honestly. Getting to T4 feels like a more important breakpoint than Magic Resist 3. Glittering Robes. Oh, that's true. So you're -2 to be shot and -1 to be hit in combat. Okay, that does change things a little bit. Because then balloons are going to be hitting you on 5s. They're going to be windy on 3s, though. It's the save. And you can try and screen a little bit. Okay. Okay. So the Prince with the Halberd, the Shield, the Star Dragon, Armor Calidor, Cedar Rebirth. No Opal Amulet, but that's because we're capped on points. Archmage. The Star Lance is pretty baller. So obviously this is a Spectral Doppelganger caster. If you somehow missed what Spectral Doppelganger is, you do 2d6 auto hits if you cast the Assailant spell using your weapon, which is Strength +3, AP -4. So Strength 6, AP 4 with Strikes First, which is interesting because the way they've ruled Assailants. So you cast it at your initiative step, and then where do the attacks go? Well, the attack should have been made at the Strikes First step. Does that mean that they just get lost to the ether? Obviously not. Someone is going to argue that, though. Balloon template will be devastating. Yeah, but like this list doesn't beat balloons in general. But that's if that's the metric that we hold ourselves up to, there's like 3 armies that I'm willing to play. There's the 4th army, which is Cathay in the Mirror, but yeah, I'm just not worrying about them too much at the moment. Yeah, okay. I think this feels fine. I think I'd rather have the +1 toughness, but I also don't know how you get there. Because there's nothing here that's fat to be trimmed. You need the Power Scroll. You need the good weapon. Blood of Calidor gives you the 6-up ward save, which is fine. And it also gives you +1 weapon skill, which is fine. So your weapon skill 5. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe we don't go Blood of Calidor, but I feel like it does give us the full plate armor as well, which I'm assuming you meant to click and just didn't. Or maybe I didn't click it actually because I put it in myself. Ah, vindicated. You didn't put it on. So you've got a 3-up save here and a 6-up ward. That's actually reasonably tanky. Yeah, I want to find the 10 points, and I don't know how we do that. Like, I guess it's dropping Sacred Incense, but I don't really want to drop Sacred Incense. Oh, hold on a second. Just don't be a muppet. Don't be a muppet. Put the Sacred Incense on the unit champion. Good job, me. I don't know why that took me so long to work out. You need BOC to go in the DPs 2. Blood of Calidor, you need it to go in. I always forget that with elves because I don't use the special units all that often. So then when it comes up, I'm like, oh yes, I can just do what I want. No, you cannot do what you want. May I have some oats, brother? Cool. So we don't need to spend these points here. -2 to hit is great, but being -1 to wound effectively from the toughness is equivalent, and I think... Oh, no, we're not replacing that. We're replacing the Magic Resist. So then, the way that we fix this is we go Magic Resist 2 with Obsidian Lodestone, like so. And you know what? For the sake of it, it's your BSB. Let's treat ourselves. Give it a Charm Shield. Oh, you didn't even give it a regular shield. You madman. Maybe you did. Maybe I just didn't put it on. Nope, you didn't put a shield on. Oh. I love how you had 5 points. Oh, I'm 20 points too many. Okay. Yep. Okay, we're going Magic Resist 1, which is not amazing, but it's enough to matter. Yes. Because otherwise we drop Blood of Calador, can't go in the unit. Yeah, cool. Okay, we're 30 points over. That's so easy to fix. Boom. This unit here, Lawmaster's Cloak, Razor Standard. I do like that, Shield Veteran. This unit's just fine, and if you're looking for something to hold your backfield, I feel like spending 381 points on the Sea Guard might just not be correct, you know? What if we went... what if we went 26 so you can be in marching column? Because you're never going to charge with this unit. 26 Spearmen with hand weapons and shields. We'll give them shield wall. Do we bother with Veteran? Like, Veteran's cool, but let's just not do that. And then let's just go... A secondary scoring unit will go... This is going to be over on points. I'd quite like to go 14 as well. So we could get... I think this is fine. Like, you go down to... The problem is 8 Dragon Princes too few? 8 Princes plus 2 characters is probably still fine, but you want to, I assume, go 6 by 2. And that kind of just ruins that. You can go 6 by 2, but then have 2 gaps in the back. It just looks a bit weird. I don't think we drop any of the upgrades. I think I like this more, just in terms of your core. Yes, you lose shooting, and you don't have magic resist, and you don't have Razor Standard, but you've got a cheaper brick that holds the objective better, just in terms of you will stand on the point for less points, and you've got shield wall. Then you've got the archers, which are to hold the off objective, and then you've got the Illyrian Reavers to go and try and touch mid-board objectives, or just be an annoying, harassing threat. Something like that. It's a little bit more boys over toys than just going full into the Dragon Princes. Oh, you know what? Screw it. Just believe that you'll never fail Impetuous. Boom. That's super fine. We're just never going to fail Impetuous. And here we then need to shave 13 points, which is a musician's really good here. The unit champion, you can probably lose the unit champion on the Illyrian Reavers. Don't get me wrong, it is good, but in the case of it's running with the dragon. To be fair, you're unlikely to fail Impetuous. You've got like a 1 in 12 chance. It'll happen every 2 tournament games if they are in position to charge every turn, which is unlikely, but, you know, it is what it is. So we still need to drop 13 points. I think it's probably just... Maybe you just go to 12 here, and you accept that, you know, it kind of sucks if something goes wrong. 12 is still fine. I'd prefer 14, but I think we're just really struggling with points. You know what? Let's go 25, and we'll go 13 in a unit champion. There we go. Final offer, 13 in a unit champion. I think that core could still be played around with. I think the general loadouts of everything else I'm pretty happy with. And I think the unit champions themselves, not the unit champions, the actual core units, I'm a little bit less pleased about. Maybe you double up on the... maybe you drop the archers and you go a second unit of Reavers. They are dog, to be clear. But they are good support for the Prince, and they're fast scoring. Maybe, something like that. All right, let's go with something a little bit easier. Something a little bit easier, which is more users named Ed. Now, I haven't looked at this. This is... Ed named this list, and I overwrote the name because I just put the... I always put the person's name in. Meta-defining threat was the name that you put in there. Okay. What are we doing here? So you've made an... very good, very good. I was wondering what the joke was going to be. And I'd missed the questing vow up here. Okay, cool. You won't like it. So, to very briefly treat this as if it was serious... can Errantry Crusade go... Kingdom Bretonnians, Errantry Crusade. This is where... Because if a unit's terrible, I just won't look at it. Yeah, so we could go something like 8. You give him Charmed Shield and... Obsidian Lodestone, I think you had set up previously. Is there anything else in here? We could give him Virtue of the Joust, which would be like unbelievably funny. That would be so funny. Let's go Virtue of Confidence. Because this unit's important. And then we're going to go to 2 units of Knights Errant. Let's just start off with... screw it. Let's live a little. Like so. You know what's fun? They don't get the Crusader's Vow. And then you put your characters in. But this way you don't have to take the... everything else. And I think you could probably tool up the Questing Knight unit with a couple of cheap Paladins. With the goal of grinding through bricks. So, what do we get from the Questing Vow? I need to remind myself. Stubborn, reroll, fear, tonic power... Okay, and then the Crusader's Vow gives you Veteran, which obviously doesn't apply to everyone else. Stubborn doesn't need the whole unit, it's just the majority of the unit, right? A stubborn character... It doesn't... Oh, I think you still get to use Stubborn even if you don't have a Stubborn unit. We'll just keep it cheap. In fact, instead of a great weapon, what can we give this character? What can we give this character that actually matters? Audacity is not going to matter here. Can't join a unit. Maybe it's confidence on this character. It's not that. Discipline, that's your march, right? I don't hate a 5-point discipline. Great weapon. On a horse. On a horse. Just like 2 of these. And this is your like grinding unit where you go double paladin, double questing knights. I don't think it's good, to be clear. And the list was only to mock me, so I don't feel like we need to go deep on it. That's good. I like that one. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Who else have I seen in the chat who submitted a list? Tommy submitted a list. I missed what's... Oh, it's not an option. Poor brats. Yeah, to be fair, it was only to mock you, so I nailed that. You did nail that. Yeah, well done. Tommy's list is trying to develop a comp-friendly marrying list. Defensive, sits back, lots of magic missiles, and crane gunfire, come at me bro style. When the enemy closes with the warriors, pop out Mao and go to work. So, immediately when you say crane guns, I say... Huh? Are these... So when you say comp-friendly, I'm assuming you're just meaning that they don't get to... You can only take, like, 2 lanterns and non-character ones. I still think... Like, it's better off going the Iron Hail guns, Dragonfire bombs, and giving them the Sky Lantern bombs. I think that's still correct this way. Unless you tell me that I can't do this, I am going to do it. And it just gives you threat towards them. And only 1 cannon is interesting as well. I'm assuming that that's just a straight comp choice. That you're only allowed some restrictions. First note, if you're playing Mao Ying, I think you want 2 units of Jade Warriors. That's my first point here. You want a couple of units to be able to bounce Mao Ying between. That's the first big thing. So one of them's got the Jade Banner. I always forget what the Jade Banner does. It is +2 combat res. That's pretty good. This sort of list... Maybe you just don't even worry about the icon Heavenly Fury, and you just go War Banner, and you just play around with combat res. Go for it, just want a working Mao list. Okay. So we're going to go... Like, so I think if you're trying to tune down, 2 non... This is still very good, and you can tune it down as you like. 2 Sky Lanterns that aren't characters, and then 2 cannons. So you're limiting yourself there. I think that is a reasonable level to go. Probably want Stubborn on the Warriors. I wouldn't hate that. Oh, it's a lot of points, though. I actually think maybe we don't bother. Because you're racking up a lot of combat res here. You have got 20. You could probably go down to 17. Just go 4x4. Because these are mostly here to stay alive more than anything else. But then if Mao joins, that actually gets kind of messy. So maybe you need them to be 20 by... Yeah, no. So we could go as high as 21. But we can't really go any lower because we have to be 5 wide. But also, only one unit can be Celestial Dragon Guard. Okay, so we'll chip that off there. Stubborn is very good, but I don't know if I want to pay 80 points for it across 2 units. When we've stacked a lot of combat res in there as well, and we've got the pieces to back them up, such as Mao Ying's going to be in and around the unit. I don't disagree, though. It is obviously very, very solid. Mao Ying's just great. Then we've got the Shuggy Lord, who has got the Monkey's King's Wisdom and all 6 spells and illusion. This is a good caster, just straight up. Where are we going to get the rest of the points from? I feel like we have to drop something. These Lancers with the Alchemist Mask. Does this list need the Alchemist Mask? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good with the Sky Lanterns. I guess it's just good with the magic missiles in general. Monkey Bonk. Why do you need to be 21 at least? Am I missing a rule? Oh, sorry, 21 warriors. So I'm just thinking about the shape, because you don't want to be 4x4 with 16 models, have Mao Ying join, take the spot of 4 models, and suddenly put them into marching column. That would be sad. So if you go 5x4, and you've got a 5th model, you've got 1 model in the 5th rank, because you've gone 21, you can then add the 4 spaces that Mao Ying takes up, and be happy. I wonder if 1,000 points is too much here if we're also trying to do this. At which point, these two can fly around together, but like having the Shuggy General to give the +1 to cast and also just the easy access to another magic missile is nice. It's 155 points, so maybe that's where we have to make cuts. And then we're 96 points over. You were going 6x3. I think so. When I look at Jade Warriors, I see a stat line that kills nothing. So I will just always go as narrow as possible for combat res. Drop the Lancers. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that is the approach, but that feels a little bit rough, I think. Have mobile pressure already. True, although they could run up with one of these and soak challenges, so I don't hate having them. But maybe it just is. Or you go... I mean, we have to drop 96 points. There's only 87 points available here. Whoa. I actually don't know how you get there. So challenges with the Knockbonk Lord. The Knockbonk Lord is gone. Because we were huge amounts of points over. I almost just wonder, you know what, if you're talking about doing... So I like the Bonk Lord. I really do like the Bonk Lord. But if you're talking about doing the magic missile list, maybe this character comes out and you go like double general with like this. And then you only have to drop 52 points from core. At which point we go, maybe we drop the war banner here, and we go down to 16 for the second unit. Like, this feels maybe more in line with, we've got range pressure, we've got lots of magic missiles, we've got the Sky Lanterns, who are good. I think if you're trying to make Mao Ying plus the Shigengan Lord work, the Monkey King Lord, I think you absolutely can, but then you just have to sacrifice here. And I think this is so strong that it's very hard to justify sacrificing. So it's like, you probably end up cutting Lanterns if you want to do the General plus Lord. Like, maybe that's where the points come from. And you run, like, one balloon. Maybe that's the answer. But, like, I think if you're running non-character balloons, you might want to run 2. So what I'll do is, if I quickly copy this... I don't love this, I'll be honest. This doesn't feel great to me. So let's just very quickly knock up the version where we drop a balloon as the points that we're freeing up, so you can put in the Shigengan Lord, who's going to go heavy armor, level 3. Yin. And then we're going to go... Where's it gone? Monkey King's Wisdom. Oh, you need to be level 4 as well to guarantee the spell, don't you? This is overwritten because Mao Ying. But I guess you haven't got the points for it anyway. Okay. Sure. I actually don't love ambushes plus Alchemist Mask. I feel like... I know you're keeping your drops low, but I feel like you want to be on the table for the ambushes. Also, isn't it the Strategist rule that gives you the... Or is it Heavenly Beacon? No, it's Heavenly Beacon. Oof. God, they have so many rules. So many rules. It's just cutting these points are very, very difficult. We need to chop another 24 off. Maybe we just drop the Sky Lantern bombs and one warrior. And, like, this isn't super refined, but you can see what I'm going for here as the premise. I don't think either of the lists that I'm putting in, Ptolemy, are necessarily it, but these are the directions that I'd look in. Oh, the first one I linked to you was just Vesper's list. That was dumb. Now I've got to redo what I undid. God damn it. Sky Lantern bombs. Duplicate 1995. That is, I think, where we were. So let's just copy that one and edit this. And no one will ever know, because I definitely didn't say it on a stream. Bish bash bosh. Jobs are good. Jobs a good. I love how much you're insistent that I drop the lancers. I was worried of that Lord, the last bunch. Yeah, I like having the Lord in, honestly. It's just, I feel like it's doing too much, which is why the balloon goes, I guess. You're welcome. You are welcome. Hey, Anthony. Hope you're doing well. Stack says, you actually had to work. My coworkers are dumb and breaking things. I don't think I missed my list, but did I miss all the trolling? And I'm sorry. Ed, you don't, there's no requirement. You don't have to be here. That's not, you know, it's not a legally binding contract to submit your list and be here. But we have just finished Ptolemy's list. I was going to say Ed's list because it was Cathay and Ed had put one in previously. So we can look at your list next, though. I think your list was actually pretty interesting. So, you said you're trying to do... This is a list after my own heart. I've been trying to make this work for a little while. You're trying to do the Tomb King on Dragon, Tomb Guard, Ushabti. And you're trying to do all of it together in one list. And it kind of just... It's too much. But I don't hate the version you've gone for. Edward says, secretly I want you to drop the warriors because they aren't that good. You kind of need them for Mao, so you've got 2 units to hide between, in my opinion. In my opinion. So, first order of business, you've gone for a High Priest with a Hieratic Jar, and the Law Familiar and Elementalism. So you're not getting reserve move on this character, which is fine, but it means that your reserve move is going to be super inconsistent. Now, you've gone for Icon of the Sacred Eye here, which gives you +1 to weapon skill, which is good. Don't get me wrong, it is good. And then you've got Icon of Rakaf on the Royal Herald, which is good. Don't get me wrong, that is good. But what if we go, instead of Icon of Rakaf, which don't get, yeah, I love it, it's fantastic. What if we go Banner of the Desert Winds, which gives us Vanguard and reserve move, and then we just don't need to worry about casting the spell, because realistically, we're just probably not going to get it off. He's not taking res move at all. Huh. No objectives. 4 points. Hold on. 1 objectives, 1 the 4 points, 1 baggage train, and King of the Hill. Okay, cool. Yes, yeah. So we definitely want reserve move. If we're not casting the reserve move spell, we want it on the Tomb Guard. So how do we fix the list for being sad for not having, you know, reserve move? So these are ambushes, so they can come in the back for baggage train. I don't hate that at all. And that's the same thing I said. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Oh! Wait, hold on. Yeah, you've got me bamboozled. I now have, like, put 2 and 2 together. Solus is, I want to be 4.62% Cola Sweets, right? That's That's where my brain has now made the link. I've been debating Desert Wind. Right now I've level 1 swapping reserve move or reroll 1s as needed. My punching bag, I need reroll 1s over reserve move. Okay. So, this, I want it to be a level 4. You've taken the item that gives you double res. Let's maximize that res. I think that's important. Then you've got a Necromancy level 1 and Illusion level 1. So, let's just make them both Illusion, because I think that has more spells that you're interested in rolling. I don't think there's really anything in Necromancy other than the Magic Missile. The Magic Missile is very good, but realistically, you just want to go probably 1 Glittering Robes into the Tomb Guard, and then 1 reroll 1s to hit for the Ushabti / Tomb Guard. Tomb Scorpion's cool. We're going to drop it. It doesn't play to our core strengths here. Ushabti are good. Cascade of Souls is good. We might come back. Oh yeah, here, I hate this. You've gone Great Weapon, and given it no defensive items. Your BSB is so important. I really don't want to see this unit die. So we'll give it at minimum Charmed Shield. And is there anything else we can give it? Like, I'd love for it to just be a lot tankier. Like, what if we went Warding Splint and Shield, actually? I know it's 35 points, but giving it a 3-up save, a 5-up ward, and then it's still got the 5-up regen, that feels very defensive. Meteoric is fine, but I think given how strong parry is, I'm pretty on board with... Because a 3-up save is effectively a 5-up save into almost every weapon. Sure, if they get Armor Bane into you, it's worse. But it's better into crap weapons, and then you also, on top of it, for 15 more points, get a ward save as well. So I think I really like the Warding Splint here, because we're not using it for anything else. This character, like, how worried are you about Undead? Because I think Biting Blade is fine, but I think you just go Great Weapon, realistically. Like, that's how we just make this a super efficient loadout, right? TOP, Armor of Ages. That is some good stuff there. Not enough for a healing potion, unfortunately. Unless, healing potion? 35, no. We've only got 20. I don't know why I thought it was close. Biting Blade is anti-Green Knight. Okay, if you're worried about Ethereal, we can leave that on. It's not the end of the world. I'd rather have the Great Weapon, but if it's a concern that you have, then sure. To be fair, I did 2 tournaments ago, 2.5 if we're counting Foray, kill this exact character by recharging it with the Green Knight. Now, it was engaged in the front with some peasants as well, but that's not important. Cool. These are fine, and then the Necrotect is fine as well. Tomb Guard. Sacred Eye, I think, is good. MR1, I think, is good. We may as well go whole hog and give it a Charmed Shield. You know, if we're loading it up with defensive choices, I do like a Charmed Shield on there. I like the Halberds, but I'm not paying for it. Do I like Drilled? I mean, you can't march, so... I guess not. This feels about right. We're not that short that many points. Like, I'm annoyed that we have to take warriors and or archers here, because I'd love to replace this unit with horse archers, because they've got reserve move built in. But I like these with ambush, so I don't really want to take them out. So I guess we just go 17 or 16 with a unit champion, because then they can tank a charge from something potentially and not die. But I think this is about as well as this list is going to work. I don't hate what you've gone for at all. Let me just... I was going to add here. That's not how this works. Color Suites. No, it wasn't. It was Steck. God damn it. Any space for Recaf without a king bunkering the weapon skill banner is kind of meh. It's hard to is the problem. So you could swap that here, but I think going from weapon skill 3 to 4 is quite a nice breakpoint defensively, and that's more what this is going to be for. So lords and high elf dragons, I'm going to hit you on 2s, which is really big. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Well, good little start there. Let's go with something else. That was meant to take less time. Why is my... There we go. I think I saw Beowulf earlier. I did. I don't know if Beowulf's still here. I think I missed him saying evening. Apologies for that. That's rude of me. But Beowulf has submitted Skaven for using Renegades and the square-based comp. So, this is, at a first glance, already what I'm looking to see. Although I think... What's the cap? Do I have to go to the PDF base.com? Oh, I can't even type. I've put aqua based. Hey, you're here. Good to see you. I can't remember if I said hi earlier. Let's... Because it says this is too many, but I'm just not sure if he didn't build this as Renegades. That might be... Oh, no, it says Renegade here. So let's just go into the Renegade pack. Skaven, page 18. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Oh, I forgot to turn it back on. So I'm just going to say it the way that the Welsh TTS says it. Ratamoji. Thank you kindly. Yeah, so it's 0 to 1 of each of the following. Okay, so your list is legal. That's good. Always a good start. What blocked your sales are fine. The Plague Monks, I don't love the Plague Monks. What do we got here? Yeah, so immediate thought is the Plague Monks don't actually do anything. So let's just remove them. So you've got all the characters that you can put into... Oh, no, hold on. We've got the Plague Priest with the Furnace. Okay, the Plague Monks go back in. Never mind. How embarrassing. I guess it was full command, additional hand weapons from the points. Okay, so if we just go through then, we've got the Warlord with the Fellblade, who is likely to kill himself, but he's just so good that you can't not take him. Greyseer with double power scroll, Demonology, good stuff. Chieftain, Stormbanner, Cautious Shield, Skaven Brew, love that. Halberd, Heavy Armor Shield, Skaven, Shadow Magnet for -1 to be hit, great. Warlock Engineer, so you can unlock this stuff, and Ruby Ring of Ruin. All of that's good. This is then the Spice. Thought being to have a second bunker. Yeah, absolutely. On their own, hate it. With this, kind of love it. The Plague Furnace is so fun. Like, just look at what it brings. So it gives you T6 plus 5 wounds. So you go to 7 wounds at T6, which is not bad for 266 points. You get D3 plus 1 stomp attacks, which is amazing. You've got poison attacks. You've also got the Billowing Death. That's not what I was looking for. There's a rule on here that just makes you harder to hit. Or is it on the... You know what? It might actually just be on the Plague Priest, right? Cloud of Flies? Yeah, -1 to... So you're -1 to hit the Chariot, which is pretty neat. So I don't hate this at all. Plague Sense is great. Remind me what laws you can take. Demonology, Battle Magic, Dark Magic. Okay. If you could take Illusion, I'd try and stack another -1 to hit, but I guess that doesn't feel like it fits the flavour. Okay, so this all makes sense. These characters are loaded out pretty effectively. I'd maybe like to see one more Skaven Brew, but I don't know how you fit that in. I think Shadow Magnet's 40, yeah. Yeah, so I don't think you can even fit in another Skaven Brew, right? This is nearly capped. You can't put it on that. Yeah, so you capped out on Skaven Brews. Cool. The Storm Vermin are good. The Night Runners, maybe a little lower than I'd like. I'd like 14, I think. And then this feels fine. Doom Wheels are just, I think, really solid for the points, if we're looking at it within the context of Skaven, in that I'm coming around to like a T5 Chariot with 4 wounds, and it's only got a 5-up save. Okay. Well, just the amount of rules it has on there. Like, at 2,600 points, I think it's super fine to put a cheap Doom Wheel in. You know, you're getting 600 extra points, and you're using a quarter of it for a Doom Wheel. I think that's a solid use of the Doom Wheel. I think that's if I think about it, like, more critically, this is maybe the units on notice. But I don't really care that much. I could maybe be convinced for Help at Abominations, because under Renegades they get to T6, right? And I think, so they're T6 with 6 wounds, they have magic, move 3d6, they've got a 5 up regen. They're basically just more expensive gigantic spawn of Nurgle, and I think that's fine, especially because they get the impact hits. The stomp attacks are worse, but D3 plus 1 is not much worse than D6. D6, I think it's like D3 plus 1.5 gives you about an average, and also your floor is higher, so yeah, I think that's fine. What I would say, and this is a very minor tweak, I want to see these Night Runners being a little bit bigger, and also, let's give them... they're both leadership 5? God, that's terrible. I mean... do we give them slings? I know we're paying through the nose for it. What if we do that? 14 with slings. We'll see if we can make the points work. So the reason I'm saying the slings is throwing weapons are 9-inch range, slings are 18-inch range. So these are kind of playing like your skirmish unit to sit an objective, but still do something at range. And then we probably just chuck off... oh, I don't really want to drop... actually, I don't know that I mind dropping 6 models here. This is not really a unit that needs a musician, so you could probably drop that there. Is that right? Is that correct? 21 Plague Months there, T4. You don't actually need that many models, right? Because you can go quite deep in terms of the chariot is 2... it takes up 2 spots. So you could go, and it takes up, it takes up 8. So if you go 5 by, so you'd have to go 6 by, which if you're going 6 by 5, that's 30. Taking up 8, so you go 22. Okay, so let's go to 22, and then drop a Storm Vermin. And I think that makes the most sense. And if we... oh, I'd have to play around with it, but... are we worried about going 1 too deep here? The points work? No, I think we just have to go 22. Because you don't want to go too wide, otherwise it becomes unbelievably unwieldy. So I think this makes sense. I also think it didn't really need much tweaking, which is nice. Could free up some points here, but we don't need to. Maybe the list is better if you just take 145 more points of Plague Monks. Or like, you know, let's do that. Let's just actually do that. And then we go... what if we just load up the front of the unit with Plague Priest as well? So we go double Plague Priest with a Plague Sensor. Because they have 3 attacks, right? 3 attacks plus Frenzy. That's not bad. That is not bad. That puts us at 83, so then we can go... I guess it's just 1 plus the Musician back in. Then you would have to go 7 wide. Yeah, I think that works. I think you're just like filling up the front rank with Plague Priests is a really solid chat. I'd love for them to be level 1 wizards already for Hammerhand, but I think it's just way too much of a cost to get there. So I think this works, and that makes that unit... yes, it's a lot more points, but I actually on reflection, don't think the Doomwheel's going to do all that much. So I think this just gives you a lot more oomph to the unit there. Oh, I realised I had... hold on, I didn't even have chat up there. Oh, is the furnace 3 wide? Okay, I think it still works. I think that still works, yeah. I do not hate that at all. Don't hate that at all. Okie dokie. Cool. Cool. Well, let's go with... we've had what do we got? We've had some Skaven, we've had some Tomb Kings, we've had some Cathay. We've had a really good mixed set of armies. There's not really that many armies spammed this evening. It's a nice change of pace where there's like, I think 2 or 3 Tomb Kings. And that's about it. That's about it. I reckon well, let's go for a quick palate cleanser, which is Renegade Crowns. And let's go from there. So this is Zarkin's list. High Ed first attempt at crowns. Only mandatory requirement for the list is the wizards need guns. Got to have those Shadow Wizard Money Gang. The wizards going for a 4-drop list, but it feels like a real struggle to add bite to the list while not over-investing in too many moving parts on the magic front.
Rat emoji.
Rat emoji. Hell yeah. Thank you, that rat bastard. Appreciate that. Okay. So, we've got double bombard. This Doomseeker is pricey. Oof. I guess it is demonology, and you can just steal a shadow room up the board. I don't hate that. And that is 205 points. Master Rune of Valorant, the Mad, Rune of Speed. So he's got Initiative 3. Does he start at Initiative 3? So he's Initiative 4. I guess it is only 5 points. Okay, and then Endless Battle, Reckless, and Rune of the Hateful. So Endless Battle is, yeah, you generate extra attacks, but it stops after 1 round because there's no fun. +1 to hit, enemies hit you back. Yeah, that's cool. You want to die, you just want to do some damage first, and hatred enemies. This is, I mean, it is pricey, but it is going to be a lot of oomph. If you roll 2 1s on the D3, you're going to be so sad. You're going to be so sad. Okay, so Knight Miragliano on the Prince with Bedazzling Helm, Charmed Shield. I am not a Charmed Shield. Sorry, I'm not a Bedazzling Helm believer on this character because of stomps, but I guess it's not awful. You can soak, like, I don't know, you can soak something with him. But you're only -1 to hit. I think you want to do it with a One-Winged Destro if you go Bedazzling Helm, right? In fact, screw Bedazzling Helm. We're going to get rid of it. You're done. We've got Demonology. Okay, so one of these, we want a wizard to be able to cast this, you know, all the good spells on the veteran sellswords. That's important. So we'll come back to that in a sec. This is a lot of points. These two are fantastic. These Outriders, this is just a solid backfield harassment unit. This is pretty solid as well. I'd like 14 again, but it is what it is. Gestro and Helm to double down on getting owned by stomps. Yeah. Hiding Outriders, 10 with the brace of pistols. Heavy armor shields, Feign Flight, reserve move, Captain Musician. So this is not bad. It's actually quite an unwieldy unit when you use it on the tabletop is the problem. And then we've got this wizard here, which is Warhorse, Demonology. Oh no, Elementalism. Law Familiar, which I'm support was the staff. Okay, I don't think you've got enough damage to make Elementalism worth going. So let's just tweak this. Witch Hunter's Ward is still fine. Wizard Staff is good. I do like the Twin-Tailed one, but it's a hell of a gamble, if we're being honest with each other. It's a hell of a gamble. So let's just go... I mean, I don't hate an Earthing Rod as well, given... Just for a free 5 points, it's not bad. Okay, and then this Outcast Wizard, Demonology, will go... get rid of that. I mean, we could keep the Wizard's Familiar for the +1 to the spell. I think just the Power Scroll Lore Familiar build is better, right? So we go like this. Now, this wizard obviously goes with the Veteran Sellswords, and that's going to Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel. And that's where the main oomph in melee comes. This joins the Outriders, and it does shooty, bang, bang. Then we've got this character, which we can suddenly go... oh, it hasn't got the right... I'd like it to have the Noble Outlaw, wouldn't I? So we've got Noble Outlaw... Oh, no, okay, this is... Well, been some issues here. So the problem is this needs to be... Oh, no, you've got Griffin Standard. Okay, I'm being stupid. Okay, so we need 1 Might Miragliano, because this unit is going to have phalanx. We'll work out how we get there in a second, because this one's going to go noble. We'll give it the repeater pistol, just because, like, the stand and shoot can actually get kind of tasty. We'll go full plate. Shield is fine. We won't be using the shield much. Oh, bollocks, I've clicked the wrong unit. This is the problem with Renegade Crowns. There's so many things piled on top of each other that my eyes are glazing over a little bit. Okay. BSB's fine. Ring a Tile, Charm Shield, Witch Hunter's Ward, Noble Outlaw, and let's give him a pistol. Sweet. Great. Renegade Prince. Full plate. I'd like to give it the Pearl Daggers alongside the White Cloak. And someone suggested in the comments the Laurel of Victory, which doubles your combat res. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. But the problem is I think I really want the magic resist here. And I think... Do we also just go twice blessed armor? Ooh, wait, hold on. Can we do this? Or twice blessed armor, Pearl Daggers, and Laurels of Victory. That's actually... That kind of slaps. And we can take off the full plate here. Now, we are gambling, because we've got no ward save. But it's fine, don't think about it. You're thinking about it. I told you not to think about it. I'm specifically telling you not to think about it. It's pink elephants all over again. And we can drop the Morning Star here. Okay, great stuff. Prince, Captain, Wizard, Wizard. This is all good. We do need something with... the Might Miragliano, though. What the hell do we give the Might Miragliano? I know you said you wanted the wizards to have gats, but I think it might be the only way to make this work is for this wizard, the one that's in the unit, to not have the gat. I didn't even want it to have the handgun. I wanted it to have the pistol. So maybe that's the answer. That is a little bit sad, and I apologize for my actions, Sarkin, but I think this is how we make it work. And we go Demonology... Yeah. This is right. And then this one's got the gat as well, which is, should feels pretty good. Really, you could go a third wizard, and honestly, we can probably shave a lot of points. Like, I feel like this Doomseeker is very heavily pointed, and I think maybe we don't want that too much. So, wizard with guns, the old games work. Yeah, the classic Gandalf with gun. What if we tune this down a little bit? So Endless Battle is fun. Reckless is good. Hateful is good. But we don't really need both of these. We can drop Rune of the Reckless and still reroll hits there. Like, the +1 to hit is kind of whatever. And that's shaving us for a few points. And the question becomes, is 10 the right number? I almost feel like 10 is too many because they're so unwieldy. Also, if we're paying for this, do we just pay for Vanguard as well? For a point per model? Maybe we go like this, and we go down to 8, but we put in Outcast Wizard level 1. For no reason, we'll give them the repeater handgun, so they can sit in the unit with the sellsword infantry with crossbows. Demonology, and then we go... not only give them the gat, give them the twin tamed wand and the wizard staff. We're 77 points over if we do that. So I think maybe we just don't put that character in as well. Maybe we just accept that we have to live with being overpointed. But that is definitely an option, and we can just put this back to where it was and go. Is there anything we need to tweak here? How do you protect the wizard in the infantry sellsword unit? Positioning is basically all you've got. It's the reality of having a wizard with the inability to buy any good defensive items, unfortunately. There's nothing that you can give him that's super appealing to keep him alive. And then we've got 21 points here. So I guess if we go plus here and then we drop... Honestly, you could probably just drop the captain from this unit. That doesn't feel too bad. Didn't they FAQ that a unit with Vanguard can't use it if a non-Vanguard character joins? That's why I didn't bother with the Vanguard. Yes, so that's absolutely true. What you can do is you can just Vanguard forwards and then march the wizard towards them. But you know what? That's actually a really good point. I'm so used to thinking about the Outriders and you vanguard the Outriders forwards, and then you stand them still, and you shoot at 24 inches with the repeater handguns, and then you just walk the wizard or the character, whatever character you're attaching to it in Nuln with the squint-offens, you walk that in, but you don't move the unit because they're vanguarded. But yeah, no, that is a very good point. You are correct. So we can just give this back the captain. Something like that feels fine. And I wish you could give them short bows as well. That'd be so worthwhile. Yeah. There's not really anything here that stands out as like, 5 points is super worthwhile. This can't have anything. We've given this the Charmed Shield already. These two can't have that. There's nothing for 5 points, is there? You could drop the Earthing Rod, which I don't necessarily want to do, and add in Charmed Shield here. There we go. Charmed Shield on the unit champion is always a good purchase, and that takes us to points like so. Love that. Good to see you, Dave. How you doing? Needs more Brap, even without seeing the total amount of Brap. I'll be honest, this is a low Brap list. I'm not saying it's Brapless, but it's a low Brap list for sure. However, I think it has play in other angles. I think that 200 points that you're spending on the Doomseeker could be better spent on more Outriders, for example, or Wizards, or a combination of. But something like that is, I think this is still solid. Still pretty good. Okie dokie. Where are we up to? Where are we up to? Oh, we've got 1, 2, 3. Move this one up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 this left. Wow. Good chunk here. So let's start off with something a little bit straightforward. So Remy has submitted a list. Just want to point out that we rats have been doing Wizards with Guns for decades. All right, show off. Hiling Outriders are my current favorite way to Brap, though. They are pretty cool. It's a lot of fun stuff you can do with them. Okay, so Remy submitted a fluffy list to casually play with, but the core needs some work and can use some extra punch. Now, the picture's not here. In fact, let me see if I can put it into my browser instead of messing around with swapping screens here. Because I could tell it was going to be a casual list because it was formatted very nicely. Let me show you what I mean. Copy link. Here we go. This should do it. I'm not sure how well this is going to crop. Oh, amazing. Yeah, so this was how Remy submitted his list, but he also submitted the JSON file, which I do appreciate. So this is a fun one. We've got double Ragnarok Spider with Waaagh magic and no other upgrades. That, I think these need something. I want them to have something. The problem is only one of them can have a ward save. And there's no way to get them anywhere else. So that's a problem. 32 Goblin Spider Riders is crazy work, frankly. Then we've got a Ragnarok Spider and Bone Grinder Giant. Now, the problem with this list is, and I mean this in the context of Fix My List, is I don't really know how to suggest to fix it. Because in terms of, obviously, it's not a competitive list, and that's not the goal of it, but I don't know how to improve it without just going, change everything. So that's a bit of a problem. I see that we've gone triple Ragnarok Spider, and there's a reason that one of the reasons we've got nothing on any of them is because we're at a flat 2,000 points. The Bone Grinder Giant as well is something. I just think maybe instead of going 32 in one big unit, maybe you run them as smaller units and you see if you can get more use out of them. This doesn't need fixing. Yeah, exactly, Dave. I kind of think this is perfect. Like, genuinely, this is kind of perfect for what you're going for, right? But if we were to try and fix it, let's just go... I think smaller units of the Spider Riders gives you a little bit more play. I think. So, I mean, you don't even go standards. You just go cav spear, short bows. I think I like light armor here. Light armor where you can get to a 5-up save on fast cav does feel pretty solid. So we go like so. The problem is we're then going to be over in points. So we go like this. We go like this. Oops, no, I meant to go down instead of up. So, and then we're 2 points missing. Hitting the exact 500 points of core is going to make me cry. Spider banner on a unit that has poison already. Does that work? Have they FAQ'd how that works? If like you stack poison, or is it? Yeah, fives. Fives still give you the +2 to wound, so it's doubly as effective, which I don't hate at all. But how the hell do we make the points work is the problem. So what if we went? I feel like the light armor is the problem. So I could go like that. Nope, that doesn't do it. And then we're 4 points shy. How am I meant to fix this? How do I resolve this problem? I just don't know if there is a way to do so. 14 points. And we're in multiples of 8. And we're 4 points shy, right? Yeah, 4 points shy. So we could go... Well, that didn't do it. Why didn't that do it? So now we're... Right, how many points over are we? We're 28 points over. What if I drop the light armor? It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. 110 points leaves you space for a warboss and giant spider, right? For more spider... Well, we'd have to get rid of the bone grinder giant, which I feel like this list is probably happy to have. Bump the grinder down to a basic giant. I don't know. I mean, it kind of feels like if you're doing it, you're doing it properly, right? It's just how do we get the core there? Oh, no. I've got it. So we go... No, fuck, I haven't got it. God damn it. Here we go. Now I've got it. So 7, but without a musician. Sweet. That's going to be slightly confusing to represent or remember on the tabletop, but you deserve that for making me try and fix the... try to make me fix it, Remy. Let me just post that one on Discord. Good stuff. Good stuff there. All right. Cool. Sweet. Let's go to... we've got another Orcs and Goblins list, but let's take a break from Orcs and Goblins. So let's go with Hobby Prince list, Renegade Lizards. So the Slan goes with the Temple Guard, Old Blood with Cold Ones, Skinks, Vanguard ahead and screen, Flank with the Cold Ones, Shoot with the Big Lizards, and cast spells with Wild Abandon. Okay, cool. That makes sense to me. So the list is pretty straightforward, I think. We've got Slan Mage Priest, which is high magic. I'm not a high magic believer. I think elementalism is the way to go here. Becoming Cogitation is just good. This is the dispel range one, generally solid. So I know high magic gives you the +1 attack and the ward save until the end of your turn, and it gives you ethereal if you can get it off. But I think elementalism just offers more, especially because in the Renegades pack you can just shoot from the top of the unit. Is this the rule? Yeah, here we go. So as long as it's not in base to base, it can cast. So you can just be tied up in combat and still casting Wind Blast, which is, let me just say, bullshit. But I think it's very, very good. This is fine. I think it's a lot of points for an item that is conditional. Like, it'll be nice when it matters, but I think for 55 points, I'm just saying, we can get more value by literally just going Ruby Ring of Ruin here. And then let's also make it the BSB. I think having the BSB in there is really good. Oh, points. Okay, that's fine. That's fine because we don't need the Skink Priest to be a level 2 wizard. A level 1 wizard in Illusion is frankly good enough because we're just going to be looking to cast Glittering Robes, realistically. Works on any character, not just enemy wizards. Yes, but it's only when you miscast, right? Let's just... yeah, so it's when you miscast. On a 2+, you instead nominate an enemy character for the blast template. That is good, but every time you roll a spell, you've got like a 1 in 40-ish chance. You can also just stick an Earthing Rod on it for when you get the dumb miscast. That's true. If it's about the miscast protection, that is very good. A very good piece of advice. And in fact, we may as well put that on because we haven't. I just think spending 55 points for something that happens once every 40 spells you cast. So if you're talking elementalism, Plague of Rust, Wind Blast, Earthen Ramparts, I guess TMP, but you're not casting TMP every turn. So let's say you're going to cast 2 spells on turn 1, and then for the rest of the game you're going to cast 3 spells. So that's 17 spells. You've got less than a 50% chance of the item actually mattering. I think it's just too many points for what you get out of it. Whereas a BSB is very good. And you know what? I'm immediately going to take that Earthing Rod out. I do like it, but I want 25 points for just War Banner. I don't think there's anything here that I'm super in love with. If you can make Ancient Stegons with Engine of the Gods and the points work, you'll be very impressed. Okay. Engine of the Gods. We drop the War Banner. War Banner's nice, but if the Engine of the Gods is pretty good, actually, so I don't hate having that in instead. Just a nice, easy swap over. Although I would like to see a Talisman of Protection on this thing, so let's see if we can tweak that around. We can just lose the Ruby Ring of Ruin. Ruby Ring's nice, at which point then we just put the Earthing Rod back on, and we're pretty happy there. This character kind of slaps. I do like it. So Blade of Revered Zunki. I'm definitely saying that wrong. Hide the Cold Ones gives you +1 to your armor save, but also stupidity. That's fine. You're on a cold one, so you're stupid already. So we're rocking 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, so you get up to a 2-up save with the blade. For anyone who hasn't seen it, this thing's hilarious. So in fact, let's start off with what you get here from the Saurus. So you're only weapon skill 6, but you're strength 5 with 5 attacks, and you have Furious Charge. So you've got 6 attacks baseline, assuming you charge, which you probably will. Strength +1, so strength 6. Ignores armor and ward saves, but you can still make regen saves. That's just pretty cool. You go choppy chop. I like this a lot more than in 1.5. So that works out here. Into core, I like what you've got here. I don't know that I care about the unit champions, and maybe I'd like to go a little bit bigger in terms of having scoring units, but I also think 10's fine if you're just keeping them cheap and cheerful, and this is your main scoring piece. Now, I do not think the Dragon Slaying Sword is worthwhile. Why? You're going to die. You're a 1 wound model. If the dragon comes in, this model dies before it gets to attack. So it's just not. It's not something that's worth using. Sunstad of Shotek, I need to remind myself of. It is the -1 to shoot, and it turns off stand and shoot. So that's just nice in this shooting meta that we're in. We've still got the magic resist from the unit, so I don't think there's anything we need to give this model other than a Charmed Shield, which is super easy to fit into the list here. At which point we do have extra points, and I think I'd like more screening here. And then the Basiladon with the Soul Wrench and the Cold One Riders, who are here to absolutely slap. I wouldn't mind the Rampaging banner on them, but it's a lot of points to commit. Dragon Slaying Sword or 10 Skinks? Yeah, 10 Skinks. Good against Morshard. Oh, what, the Cupped Hands? Yeah, but I mean, I'm not like if I'm thinking about Cathay, the thing that I'm worried about is very much not the Morshard. It's the balloons that are going to table me. So teching to beat Cathay is maybe not a bad idea, but it's also like I'm not worried about teching to beat them in that way. You know, if we just make them 14, for example, then we've got a little bit more oomph, and then give this model a charm shield as well, just as a general piece. Dragon Slayers, Skaven belt banner for the culture. So yeah, the Cold One Riders with the frenzy banner, and then also the high magic spell, giving them +1 attack each, gets them to, I think it's 7 attacks per model, because the Saurus come with 2, and the Cold Ones come with 2, so you're at 4. Then you go with the frenzy, you go to 5, and then with the high magic spell, you go to +1 each here, so you go to 7. Unfortunately, the actual quality of the attacks is pretty low. But it's definitely an option that you can do. I just don't think it's worth. And I actually think the frenzy banner doesn't really add much to it, so it's very much a big downside for a small positive. Jungle Swarm Arc of Sotek combo. Now that objectives are a thing. You're welcome, Hobby Prince. My pleasure. I need to remind myself how I feel like you get 1 swarm back with the Arc of Sotek. Is that correct? D3 lost wounds on a 4+. Oh, that's just bad. Like, for 160 points on a model that is a large target, right? Yeah, it's just so easy to shoot off the board. It's so easy to shoot off. It's just a shame, because I like the concept of it. I do like the concept of it. Alright. Let's have a quick look at Jacob von Torkar's list, which is... So the brief for this one is trying to go for a Prince Sigvald the Magnificent lookalike army. Have armies be washed over by the Geld Prince's radiance and the enemies be blinded by it. Now, I like that concept. What you've got here is lots of small units that are going to be ineffectual. So we can do this, but I'm just going to tweak quite heavily. So we're going to get rid of these Chosen Warriors. 7 Chosen Warriors with 65 points of magic items is not going to get you very far. Also, as a point, you don't need to go magic weapons on Chaos. Like, there's no need to do that. They've got magical attacks baked in, and their lance attacks here, or great weapon attacks, or what have you, are all very, very solid. So... the Chosen with lances, we'll give them those there. 5 is good, but I think we'll go to 6. We've got some points there. The Gigantic Spawn of Slaanesh is not optimal, but it's fine. It's, you know, we're going for a theme, and Countercharge is pretty cool. And Strikes First is not bad, honestly. Like, the attacks are not great, but you'll be like, I actually get to do a little bit of something with them. Now, you've got the Sorcerer Lord on a Demonic Mount. I'd just go Chaos Steed here, because I'm assuming you're joining it to one of the units of knights, but it won't fit on properly. So you're going to have to bulk out the side, which makes it weirdly wide. Confirm that the Demon Prince with Ogre Blade and Meteoric Extra Arm is the new Chaos meta. You're sowing seeds already, trying to confuse the general meta, I see. You've been abusing Steve with that. Oh, you've actually been playing with that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Interesting. But it just dies so easily. Cool. So, then we've got these knights here. You've gone for just a musician. I think, like, if you're going for any command, the champion probably makes the most sense there, but we can go full command there. It really doesn't be surprised. I've played against it, Dave. Maybe I've just played against bad players with it. Maybe that's what it is. I've been underwhelmed when I've seen it on the tabletop, I will say. But I will, on your recommendation, give it a second look. Going up to 6 here for the Marauder Horseman is not a bad shout, just makes you a little bit better at scoring. And we've got a lot of points left here. So you've got the Aspiring Champion, Rampaging Banner for the charge range, and then you've got Heavy Armor, Brazen Collar, Taskmaster Scourge to give you extra movement. You can give this one a shield as well, gets you up to a 4-up save, which is not too shabby. And the Taskmaster Scourge, getting the infantry up to 7 inches and then charging with a reroll on the charge. I think that's pretty solid. I do like it. Let's really double down and go with... Oh, you've got the Enchanting Ore already. Okay, no worries. I don't think any of the rest of the upgrades are super worthwhile there. This Sorcerer Lord is... Is it Battle... Yeah, I'm not really sure what the job of this wizard is. Battle Magic, Power Scroll, 2 Favor of the Gods, but on a steed with Lore Familiar. I'm not 100% sure what the role of this character is with Mark of Slanesh. I feel like you just do the same build, but you go Demonology, and suddenly it works pretty well. And it can buff up the Chaos Knights quite nicely with Demonology. So I think that's what I'd go for there. This Chaos Lord on foot, because I assume you're using the Sigvald model. Demon Sword, Favour of the Gods, Enchanting Aura. This is fine. Demon Sword, again, it's another one of those items that's like, you look at and you're like, oh, maybe it's good enough. Plus D3 strength, AP -2, plus D3 extra attacks, but every roll of a 1 to hit hits your unit or yourself if you haven't. So you better hope that you hit well. At which point, I think with the Demon Sword, you kind of want the Paymaster's Coin, but I think it's just too important to have Favor of the Gods. So we just kill some models in our unit and we live with it, you know? That's kind of the route we're going down. What we will do is, I don't know how this unit's so expensive. Let's make sure we're giving them shields here. We'll give them full command. And we'll give them some more models. So we'll give them Icon of Darkness because you don't want to be shot. And then let's also give the unit champion the Brazen Collar. I don't think we've got it anywhere. No, it's on the Aspiring Champion, so we don't need the Brazen Collar there. So what we'll do is we'll give the Chaos Knights the Brazen Collar, so all of your key units are going to have magic resist too. Just make it so it's hard for your opponent to play into you. Like so. And the Chaos Warriors can be joined by 2 characters, and then just run up the board with the great weapons. I mean, 19 in a Charmed Shield. I think that does the job. So this is like basically your list, but just refocused a little bit. So we've dropped the 7 chosen, but basically added them to the warriors here, and then we've just tweaked around a little bit in terms of making sure that all of our units have magic resist, so that it's effectively defending you a little bit better there, Jacob. Cool. All right. Okie dokie. Let's have a look at what we're going for next. So we've got Tomb Kings, we've got Orcs and Goblins, we've got Ogres, we've got Wild Hunt, Demons, and Chaos. That's a lot of evil shit that I've left in. All of them are evil armies. So let's have a quick look at Michael S.'s Ogres Legacy. So this is a 3-round tournament. Only hero level characters have Iron Guts, Mournfang, and another Iron Blaster, Lead Belchers, and a Thunder Tusk available. So the name of the list was something like the Yetis March to War, and then you scroll down, you're like, 12 Yetis. That's a lot. So I'm definitely thinking that instead of the Yetis, we do just go Iron Blaster and Mournfang. I think that's just going to be better straight up. Do I hate one unit of these? I think the problem is they just don't have anything good, right? The Grimfrost weapons are Strength 1, AP 1, which is fine, but you've only got 3 attacks. It doesn't give you an extra attack on the Grimfrost weapons, does it? No. So, like, they're quite fast. They have Swift Stride as well. I actually don't hate that they have Swift Stride. Maybe we leave one unit in and we put in a unit of Mournfang. You go something like the Bull Standard here and give them also... Do we go Fistful? Is it Fistful of Laurels? Reroll 1 break check. Like so. That's a really good unit. I mean, looking at this, we immediately go, oh, maybe we have to drop the Yetis. But I always don't hate leaving one unit in. Let's see if we can get there. Characters. We've got Bruiser on foot, Spangle Shard, Biting Blade, Kineta. That's fine. But honestly, Great Weapon is just better, right? Or are we really worried about Ethereal? I think if we're worried about Ethereal, then the Butcher goes into them. So let's just say Great Weapon. Drop the Biting Blade. Kineta is it +1 strength? Okay, so it's a BSB basically, but for cheaper. I like that. I think that's good. The Butcher, level 2 Wizard, Illusion, Enchanted Shield, Power Scroll, Sword of Might. So we're trying to do... I mean, you can't take a shield anyway. So we've got to drop that. I think Because it looks like you're trying to do Spectral Doppelganger, but you're just never going to get there. I think what you have to do is go Lore Familiar. And I think the best way of doing this is to go Biting Blade and take Giant Breaker. So this gives you +1 strength. You can't refuse a challenge and they can't flee. But you don't have to accept the challenge, so you can just accept with someone else. It's not really a problem. And that gets you AP2 on the Biting Blade, and you're still Strength 5. So your Spectral Doppelganger is pretty decent. Now, you will struggle to cast it a little bit, but I think this is the best way to do what you're trying to do there. Then we've got the Hunter with a Harpoon Launcher, Vanguard, Armor Meteoric Iron, Sword of Striking, Fistful of Laurels. Okay, Sword of Striking is just bad. This is a terrible weapon. It doesn't matter how well you hit, because your Strength user AP nothing, so let's not do that one. Fistful of Laurels for Break Test is fine. Armor of Meteoric Armor is fine. The Harpoon Launcher is... I mean, what's your ballistic skill? Is it 5? 4. Yeah. I mean, we can leave it on. It's only 10 points. It's not too big. Long Stride is +1 movement. Yes, that's correct. So that gets you to movement 7, and then you join the Saber Tusks, which are movement 8, so they only lose an inch of movement. Okay, that's fine. I think that is okay. Oh, you're going to join the big unit. Interesting, interesting. So you're going for a very, like, heavy pressure list with the Vanguard here. I see what you're going for. I think... because you're going to put 2 characters into the Ogre Bulls. I think we just... I mean, right now you're going 4x3, right? But I think... maybe we go 3x3? No. It's still going to have to be 4 wide because you've got 2 characters. I think we just drop 2 of these. One of the units of Saber Tusks. And then find some points elsewhere. Like... honestly, maybe we just drop the Crusher. That +1 attack is nice, but... maybe that's the way that we get in. Maybe probably go Crusher over the unit champion, right? Yeah, I think this is a better list. Like, it's a little sad to lose the Yetis, but I think this actually plays the game better. I like the core section, though. If you watch this back at all, Michael, I think your core section was solid. Unlike what you're doing there, didn't need much tweaking. Yetis stay on the shelf mostly, doesn't have the same ring to it. Are we there, Yeti? Needless name for them. Yeah, that's good. That is solid. Okay. Okay, how many more lists we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't want to rush people's lists, but I also do have to finish painting and making a movement tray for my tournament tomorrow, so I want to wrap this one up at a reasonable pace. So... let's go to Voodoo's list. It's written like that. I'm not just a silly... you ain't seen nothing, Yeti. Very good. So the name of this list was Magic is Dead. Haha. So this is the full Magic Spam Zinch list. So, I think the concept of this is good. Is Icon of Sorcery extremely common? It is. Okay. So you can hit them both with the... oh, God, you got to click on it from here. I've forgotten the name of it. It's not Pink Fire. It's Change, something of Change, Gift of Mutation. So you just like -D3 on their Strength, Toughness, Weapon Skill, whatever. And these are casting with better combat res. Although, by going 18, you're not getting... you don't have to take that many losses before you stop getting the max casting. I think you go unit champions on these. I think units of infantry definitely want unit champions. Even if you have to go down to 17 here. Like, immediately that feels better. Level 1 Exalted Flamers with, I'm assuming, Demonology. Demonology for something I'm doing more. Yeah. So Demonology is just a better spell. Harder to cast, but a better spell. Cool. Pink should go with Gift of Mutation. Yep, that's great. They can really soften enemies and also shoot. Yeah, that's true. And then we've got the Burning Chariot of Zinch. And the Burning Chariot's a level 1 wizard as well, isn't it? So we're just going double Demonology Double level 1 wizards, yeah. Exalted Flamer goes for dark magic, so we have a mix on chariots, the summoning dark bolt. I don't know why Old World Builder doesn't handle this correctly. I just go summoning. Or go full summoning. And then we've got 4 spells in battle magic, hoping for Arcane Urgency and Fireball, I guess. Yep, Arcane Urgency, Fireball. Yeah, I have tried to build this list before. I think you've kind of done it perfect, Voodoo. I don't have any tweaks for your list. What I would say is the main thing is just make sure you go with the summoning and everything. Only real notes is always summoning all casters, in my opinion. There we go. I recall seeing this list played when the game was launched. The admin to be able to run it with something to behold. Yeah, so there are a good amount of spells to cast, but if you play it correctly, you resolve all shots from 1 unit, so it's not too bad because you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 magic missile units, and then you've got 2 hex units, so it's a little bit more workable, I think, if you play it correctly. Aconte, amazing. Good luck, small 1,200 point tournament. Long live the goats. I hope it goes well for you, Aconte. Let me know how you get on. That sounds like a fun time. Should be a good one there. All right, let's have a look at. You know what? Let's go into the Beastmen list. Jazz Hat says, can't join Friday. Tired of all the fiddly wildhair movement. Wanted something with a bit of that, but also a lot more aggression. Not sure if the Great Bray Shaman or Beastlord gets a chariot. Would like one for fun. Could move to a Tuscan chariot. Okay. Okay, so we're still heavy on the wizards. I'm not sure. So this is illegal, unfortunately. Gnarled Hide is infantry only, so you can't put it on a chariot and also have Gnarled Hide. What we can do though is we can go. Well, I guess you don't need to go for the full plate chaos armor because you've got the raised gauze 4-up already, right? It is a 4-up, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So my problem with this is you're only ever getting 3 attacks. I guess you go Mantle of Gorok. You could go Mantle of Gorok. Yeah, Mantle. We love get Mantle. You know what? Screw it. It's fun. Let's leave it as it is. So we've got the Beast Lord, who is Black Maul, full plate, uncanny senses. This is where Gnarled Hide can go. Get him into that 2-up save. Then we've got the Bray Shaman, which is very funny. I do like that. Then we've got Law Familiar Demonology. Yep, very good. And then we've got 2 casters here. The one thing I would say is on these 2 characters, let's go Primal Magic. You're almost always going to be picking Wildhide anyway. But Primal Magic, the spell that you can pick up here is an anti-fanatic tool. So if you're really worried about beating orcs and goblins, just having that available in your list is really good to have. Primal Warherd. Okay. Okie dokie. So the Herdstone's good, the Dragon Ogres are good. Razor Gore Chariot I can leave, honestly. And then we've got Tusker Chariot. These ones are good. Razor Gores are good. Ungors are good. This is what I don't like. I think what we do is we drop the Razor Gore Chariot, and instead of going for 1,000,000 Gore and Ungor, let's just make this the min size, because Impetuous is just a real pain in the backside to deal with. We can still give it full command, but let's just not go too far. You don't need to give it magic resist, because it's going to be the unit that's holding the Herdstone as well. And then we go Gore Herd. And we go like 30 models with... You gave it the War Banner. I don't mind the War Banner. It's fine. I think there's loads of banners that are good for Beastmen in general, so there's a fair amount of choice that you can put in. Ambush on the Primal Herd and getting the main star as Gore. This is built for Mantle Smashing. Yeah, we could give it Ambush. It's 20 points for Ambush, though, which I don't... screw it, we've got the points. 20 points, and then we'll go one more Gore. And that should tick the boxes. Did I give this ambush? Oh, I need to click for both. There we go. I was going to say. So, I think the characters are good. This one's funny, but it's still pretty decent. This, I just hate the impetuous, so let's go min size. It can hold the herdstone. Jobs are good. This unit here is just the better version of what you're trying to do before. Oh, we haven't got slug skin. Oh, we haven't got slug skin. Okay, we definitely want slug skin. No BSB as well. Ooh, no BSB as well. Okay. So we need to find 50 points, which I guess is coming out of... We're taking the ambush off this unit because I truly do not care about giving it ambush. Its entire role in life is just to stand next to the objective. 26 is enough. Or we could drop the charm shields and go to 27, which I think I like a little bit more. Yeah, that feels better. And then this all feels solid. Double chariot, double razor gore, ungore. I wouldn't mind them having ambush or having 10 with ambush, but I think it's fine. Like, yeah, this looks like a good version of the list in my opinion. Beast Lord into a Black Maul Shaman with slug if you can, more smashing. Yeah, 100%. So, did you see the list that I won a couple of weeks ago with Dave? It was five Viletide potential. So I had the Black Maul Great Bray Shaman with Demonology. I didn't have a Lore Familiar caster on my like level 1 or level 2, and I think I maybe should have done. But I had level 4 Demonology, roll spells and pray, Black Maul, full plate Chaos Armor, Gnarltide, smash. Then I had the Wargore with Slug Skin, Charmed Shield, BSB. That was it, just nice and cheap. But the Slug Skin was in the unit. Then I had triple level 1s. One of them had the Jagged Dagger. All of them were Primal Magic, but they all went Viletide. And then the 5th one was the Hagtree Fetish Caster, but along with the, heavy Chaos Armor and Flying Carpet Power Scroll as well. Oh, you did see my list, because you said you were going to not Rock Lubber at Doom Direct. At which point I said, yeah, I'm thinking about putting ambush on my wizard. But yeah, I think this is a fun version of the list that still just like kicks unbelievable level of butt. You still got 3 Viletide, which is probably just enough. Like 3 is good. I think more melee tools is what the list needs, not necessarily more casting. After playing with it. But I like the full casting version. Let's go to a cute one. War Banjo, my 9-month-old's favorite. My 9-month-old daughter's favorite toy is her Night Goblin plushie. Get them indoctrinated young. Good choice. I wanted to do a Night Goblin fluffy army with her as the war boss, but my gaming group changes meta, so I need something with at least some teeth. I need to click the actual list here. Cool. War boss stink, but very good. Okay, so we've got a war boss on foot, Dechoppius Chopper, Armor of Mork, Talisman of Protection. Okay. Yeah, because you can't go Troll High Trousers and also Dechoppius Chopper and Talisman of Protection. Banagit Boog Flicker. Charm Shield, Sword of Might, BSB. I mean, this could just be a great weapon here, I think. Although, yeah, I don't know what this is. Because you've named them, I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? Okay, so it's not a great weapon. I think it is just going to be Sword of Might. Okay, that's fine. Level 4 Wizard Waaagh Magic, which is Night Goblin. I didn't realize that it just like takes away the actual unit name. It does make sense, but it does make it a lot harder to actually pass the thing. Okay, so you got okay, so immediately we go into 30 here and we're going for another Fanatic. I probably wouldn't bother with Spider Banner. Realistically, it's just not going to do enough for the points. The Netters is kind of choice, but they're fine. They're fine. And then here we've got 34. We'll just start off by 30 because we've gone points over from the other one. So you're 22, 34, 34. So you added up to having the right number of Night Goblins, but you had them spread over 3 units like so. Honestly, I think hand weapon shield is better than the spears. I think I wouldn't even bother. Unless you just want to represent it physically. But I think, yeah, just like that feels like a better use of points. Then we've got the boss's boys. Is this another unit? Okay, okay. Having one big unit is fine. Screwy Copper, Spangler, Screwy Mountain. Okay, so this is really close. But let's just go double Doom Diver. And boom. Immediately, we're in a much better spot. I'm really struggling to read this with the names. So, I mean, if you just went Doom Divers, random movers, lots of fanatics, baseline, you've got a good list. And then everything we're tweaking after is fine. So I think these big bosses, I'm not super worried about having magical attacks. Unless you're really worried, like really worried about ethereal, which you might be. So if your local meta has that, I guess we can leave it in. If not, then you can just drop those because it's not super worth the points. Level 3, Fungus Wine, Staff of Doom, Waaagh Magic. That's okay. I don't love this loadout. So only +1 toughness. So T5 is not the same breakpoint as T6. It really, really isn't. And to chop his chopper is... Oh, it's only magic. Oh, okay. I think, let's say, I would go, instead of Talisman Protection, Trollhide Trousers. I was thinking Dead Hard Armor. That was it. The full plate, but it's only Black Orcs, that's why. But then you... Oh, no, because you only come with light armor, don't you? Oh, this is a tough one to build out. Maybe it's... I think the Choppiest Chopper is not doing a lot here. Okay. How do we keep this Goblin alive? Is it... Armor of Destiny is not an awful choice in terms of just a 4 ward save. And then you could just go Great Weapon with that. Or you go like Dead Hard Armor. No, you can't go Dead Armor. So you go Armor of Mork, Trollhide Trousers, Charmed Shield. At which point you've got 25 points left. Biting Blade is definitely worse than Choppiest Chopper, but let's be realistic here. You're not doing any damage in combat with this list. We've got a lot of magic weapons. All of the damage comes from the fanatics, the random movers, and the Doom Divers. I think that's fine though. We're now a lot of points over, so we probably just have to drop this to 30. And I think as well, if we're being realistic, the Nectars are fine and fun, but I think they're not super important to have in. So yeah, something like this feels solid. And then this BSB, War Banner, Charm Shot, yeah. I think we can definitely drop some weapons. I feel like we're paying a lot of points for not a lot of effect. So I'll leave the magic weapons here, but this is going to be in the same unit as the war boss. So I think by dropping that down to a great weapon, which is just a more effective weapon if you're not being attacked, you could go up to 37 models, something like that. I think that is probably how I'd tweak that list, War Banjo. I hope that is helpful. Oh, bugger, I didn't post Jazz Hats list. I should do that now before I forget about it. So if I just put this in here, Bush, and then if we go War Banjo's list as well. Oh, it's your goblins. Hey, nice. I got really locked in there, Mike. I was just fully focused on what I was doing instead of reading. Sorry. But yeah, I think so. Just to since you're here, all of this, like all of the value, realistically comes from the fanatics, and like that's not 100%, but like 80% of the value comes from the fanatics. and also the screening that they do. And then the Doom Divers will deal damage at range, and then these 4 units can cause havoc, and that's kind of where the strength of the list comes in, and then combat res and stuff like that. So I'm not super worried about having these be offensive. And honestly, if you hadn't said that this was modeled on your daughter, I probably wouldn't have spent so many points on it. But I think this might be the most defensive build I could come up with, because it's important that the general makes it to the end of the battle. That's very important. Cool. So we're down to 2. We'll go with Cthulhu James's Cali Cup list. I think there was some text on this one. I just forgot to put it in my notes. For I am a fool. Prepping this list for Cali Cup, which uses the updated SB comp with 2,200 points. Never used secret objectives before, so I'd love help choosing which to take. The idea is to use Friedel and the Marauders to flank fast. Type shooting, hence the Mark of Corn. Okay, interesting. Chosen will form a Death Star with the exalted characters, running -2 to hit from shooting, Fleshy Abundance, and possibly a Demonology buff. They're immune to Psychology via Endless Frenzy, with 2 power scrolls to ensure key spells go off. Okay, sweet. So there's already some interesting propositions here. So from the bottom, Double Spawn and Nurgle. Great, love that. Chosen Knights, Charm Shield, Brazen Collar, Banner of... I think we don't go Banner of Rage on our Chosen Knights. I think that is... Like, this is... Obviously, Frenzy is strong. However, they're already very strong. So, for the same or similar points, Rampaging Banner, just to consistently get there, this unit just hits hard on its own. I think I'd really worry about giving them Frenzy. Like, I know you mentioned it as part of your battle plan, but just them being uncontrollable in a tournament setting, I just can't see it going well. Like, even this unit being frenzied gives me pause. You've got a specific use for it, so I think I can see what you're going with. But I think this unit definitely doesn't want to be frenzied, especially because you've got the Demonology caster, right? So you've got a Marker Nurgle, Demonology caster. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so let's just upgrade this to an actual wizard. Let's do it this way. So we'll go Sorcerer Lord. Oh, that's really sad. So by fitting Friedel in, you're just not allowed to... Alright, we're going to tweak. Because Friedel is... She's in because of the reason you wanted to be in, right? I mean, that's not bad, actually. The extra attacks, strength +2, AP -1. AP -1's a little bit sad. She gets more victory points... Yeah, okay, sure. So, does she have to be the general for this? Does it not work if she's not the general? In addition... that's so sad. Okay. We're going to downgrade the Exalted Champion to an Aspiring Champion, which means they're going to hit less hard, which does suck. But... the actual ability to buff your unit with your wizard is way more important. So let's go Chaos Steed, Demonology, level 4, Spell Familiar, and then we can go like a Power Scroll, and a couple of Favor of the Gods, I guess? Something like this. I don't hate giving them a regen save as well, so they don't just immediately die. Something like that is maybe important. So that Sorcerer Lord knows 5 spells, so they're probably going to get the good Demonology spells. Also, will have Fleshing Abundance from Mark of Nurgle. This just does what you want it to do. And then we can also put Diabolic Splendor on it for the strikes last. I think that's probably the way to go. It does allow cavalry, doesn't it? I just had a brain fart there. Yeah, perfect. And then an Aspiring Champion. And I'd rather have an actual character, but because Friedel's in the list, we can't do that. We also can't go Chaos Lord, otherwise you lose the +1 to come in from. So within the context of the restrictions of your list, this is the way to do it, I think. Mark of Nurgle is good, but we really want a BSB in here, because given that you are not undivided, you lose your reroll to Fear, Terror, and Panic, and you don't have good leadership on the table, so we just gotta deal with that. What do we want to give it? You gave this the Demonic Plate Whale. I mean, +1 toughness is fine, but let's just go Talisman of the Carrion Crow, which is a better buff to defenses, something like that. Evening Martin. Having a character named Rat Slasher is pretty offensive. I can only apologize for the horrific sights you saw today. There's nothing I can do to undo the horrific crime that you've witnessed. Master of Mortals is pretty good, but you can't put it on Friedel, so that's actually kind of just not worth anything. We've got the Rampaging Banner already. I guess Icon of Darkness is pretty good. I feel like you mentioned being -2 to shoot. How were they -2 to shoot before, anyway? I've deleted the characters. So you had, you have Demonic Splendor. I guess he changed the banner and then forgot that he changed the banner. That's maybe it. So we can just go Gift of Chaos, Demonic Splendor. Oh, we've got Demonic Splendor already. Enchanting Aura? Enchanting Aura. There we go. That list wins. Needs more Vile Tides. Yep, absolutely. So we're 63 points over, but the game plan is way more consistent now. And we just need to shave 63 points. Now, I don't love shaving off points here, but okay, we don't necessarily want the standard. I think we want flails instead of great weapons. Like, I don't necessarily feel like this unit needs great weapons, because it's coming in from the back. So either it's getting the charge, or you just lose, right? You lose the fight. So we can drop some points there, and I think we can drop 1 Chosen Knight. And there we go. I think these are the changes that I would make. In terms of secret objectives, they're basically what it says on the tin. So, like, for your list, the one where, the ones that I'd pick off the top of my head, the one where if you cast 3 spells, great. The one where if you dispel with a fated spell, great. I think there's one where you can dispel multiple of your opponent's spells, something like that. Catching banners, and then also being in your opponent's deployment zone with 1 unit and being in your opponent's deployment zone with multiple units. I think those are actual ones off the top of my head. It's been a little while since I looked at them, but they basically don't have a huge impact on the game, but they're just fun to try and do. I was pretty against them, but then having played with them at a couple of tournaments now, I'm like, okay, none of these have ever affected the outcome of the game, but I did enjoy flipping the card over and being like, huzzah. Last but not least, we've got a Tomb Kings list, and this looks like it's below points, but it's because Old World Builder apparently hasn't been upgraded to have the new Tomb King scrolls in, which is fair enough. They're usually pretty on the ball with updating things, so I'll not rag on them for not here. So there's a Scroll of Withering on this character, Scroll of Withering and Righteous Smiting on this one, and then Righteous Smiting here. Now, Righteous Smiting, I believe, is the one that gives you rerolls to your artillery, but there's only 1 Screaming Skull catapult, so I'd like to see a second Screaming Skull. That feels like if you're going to the effort of putting 2 Righteous Smitings in, I know that the second Righteous Smiting is to unlock the Scroll of Withering here, but like maybe just don't bother on this cast, you know. So Ushabti are good, Warriors are good, Skeleton Horse Archers are good, Necrosphinx. I think this list just kind of like you've kind of got it where it needs to be. I don't love Cloak of the Dunes. Because the scrolls are not in, I think it's going to be too difficult to actually like tweak the list in the builder. So I'm just going to talk through my thoughts and then like link you a timestamp. So I think the list is good in general. What I like is this character is able to get around and do what it does, but I worry that Cloak of the Dunes means that you're just going to die if you come up against like orcs and goblins. And because it's your general, you're also going to then start crumbling. So I think this character stops being the general and this character becomes the general. Just for like the defensive of the Lore Familiar flying around character doing that, and then this character can be in or near units if it needs to, and that just gives you a little bit more flexibility. The level 1 here, BSB, just a classic, is good as well. I'd go, I mean, it's super minor. I'd go Illusion just in case you ever want to roll into Glittering Robes, in case that is the option that you want. Also, with these Skeleton Warriors, I wouldn't hate seeing a Necrotect in there just to start buffing them up, but it's not super important. The actual unit themselves, Banner of the Dennis Winds, is obviously great. I would prefer to see Musician on here. Also, you could... Yeah, I don't think I care about Charm Shield on there. Otherwise, this is like a solid unit, you know. Skeleton Horse Archers, great. Reserve move, very good. Ushabti, very good. Next Sphinx, very good. Double Tomb Scorpions. Most people tend to not bother with the Terrors Below. But what I will say is it is absolutely devastating if it goes off, and it's only 2 points per, so I think more people should go for it. I remember at a tournament, I misread it, and I let my opponent kill a dragon with it. We had to then go back next turn when we realised it's... Oof. But yeah, and I'd like to see another catapult in. So, like, I think the goal here would be +1 catapult. Maybe plus an Ecprotect, but that's kind of whatever. Yeah, it's basically just +1 catapult, and then, like, swapping these two here, in terms of one being the less safe character not being the general. Also, having one level 4, I think, would be good if you can find the points for it, is good as well. Like, do you need 2 Scrolls of Withering with your list? Scrolls of Withering are great, but you've only got 8 Ushabti, and you've got 1 Screaming Skull Catapult, you've got 2 Caskets of Souls. Withering doesn't super line up with what your list wants to do, I think. So I'd probably drop 1 Scroll of Withering. So, in fact, this keeps the Righteous Mighting. This drops both of its scrolls, and that frees up like 60, 65 points, whatever it is. And then you try and shave some more points and put another catapult in here as well. And that's generally the concept I'd go with, but I can't properly represent it just because Old World Builder hasn't got the scrolls in there, and it's I'm sure there's a way to do it. But my brain is a little cooked. All right, well, that takes us to the end of the list. Some good lists in there, some really nice variety. I'm hoping that we get a bit of a shake-up in terms of, you know, a little bit of a list rebalancing, not list rebalancing, but, you know, if we see the top of the meta just get taken down a couple of pegs, I think we'll see a lot more really interesting list building. So hopefully we'll see something like that sooner rather than later, but we'll see. We will see. All right, well, I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. There won't be a stream to next Friday, because I will be setting up for streaming the Saffron Slam, and on Saturday I should check what it is, Saturday the 1st and 2nd, I believe it is, next weekend, there will be a stream of 3 games on the Saturday, 2 games on the Sunday, and there'll be some Teams of Warhammer brought to you, with commentary by yours truly. Alright, catch you all on the flip side.